What we're talking about today is dividing polynomials using synthetic division. It's a very nice method to use. What we want to do is take the leading coefficients of all of these things, which are 1, -8, +1, and don't forget we still have a 0 that's sticking out here for a constant term. And we want to write all those numbers down, so 1, -8, +1, and 0. We also have to take and set the bottom, or the thing that we're dividing by, equal to 0 and solve for that. And that'll get me b is equal to a +8. We're going to take this number and stick it off in the side in a little box to keep it separated from the other ones. Now the synthetic division process, you want to take and draw a line underneath the numbers that you have and bring down your first term, which is just 1. Now we're going to take and we're going to multiply the outside number by those numbers at the bottom. 8 times 1 is +8. And we're going to write it up here next to it in the next column. Now we're going to just combine these guys together, 8 and -8, to make a 0. And we're going to repeat the process. 8 times 0 is 0, 1 plus 0 is 1, 8 times 1 is 8, and 0 plus 8 is 8. So now what this says is that we have a remainder of +8, and we have our different things here, which are going to be the values. We have this 1 right here being the constant term, the 0 being our b by itself term, and our 1 being our b squared term. So this is going to be b squared plus 0b, which I don't need, plus 1. Remainder 8 would be a 8 over top of b minus 8. We would then want to do another example, one that does not have a denominator that's quite the same as the last one. We're going to still set it up the same way, 6, 29, 62, 23, and -17. And we want to take and set this equal to 0 and solve it. Now we're going to subtract 5 and get 6n is equal to -5, and we're going to divide by 6, which gives me n is equal to a -5/6. And this number is going to go in the blank, -5/6, in this little box off on the side. Now that's going to be crappy to use, but it's still going to work out just fine. We want to bring down the 6 right there, and we'd say -6/5 times, or 5/6 rather, times 6 is going to be a -5. Combine our terms, in 29 and -5 make 24. Now we'd say 5 times 24 and divide that by 6, and that's going to give me a -20. And whenever I combine those guys, it's going to be a 42. Then we're going to take it, 5 times 42 is going to be 220, and divide that by 6. 120 divided by 6 rather is 5 times 42. Let's just do some calculations here. We're going to do 5/6 times 42, and we're going to get to 35 for that. So 35 is up here. Of course, that would be negative. 23 minus the 35 is going to be a -12, and that is going to be 5/6 times the -12 is going to get me a -10, which when I combine together, +10 combined together, that's going to get me a remainder of -7. So this is going to be a 6n to the third plus 24n squared plus 42n minus 12, and then we have this -7 over the remainder, or the denominator, which is 6n plus 5. Now the problem with this is that's not the actual right answer, because when I was solving up here, I ended up doing this whole divided by 6 thing when I divided both sides by 6. That means my denominator is 6 times smaller than it should be. So what I really need to do is still divide everything by 6, because I haven't technically done that yet. And that's going to give me an n cubed plus 4n squared plus 7n minus 2. Now the 7 does not get divided by 6 again, because I haven't actually done the dividing by 6n plus 5 yet. And that is my final answer.